As the Overwatch League enters the final week of Stage 1, it's time to get you set up for the stage playoffs. First, here's how it all works. The Overwatch regular season is broken into 4 5-week stages. At the conclusion of each individual stage, there is a stage playoff, pitting the top 3 teams in the standings against each other. For teams with the same record, the tiebreakers are cumulative map differential, followed by head-to-head map differential, then head-to-head record. Following match play on the last Saturday of each stage, the second and third place finishers will face off for a chance to face the #1 team later that night for the crown of Stage 1 champion. So what's at stake other than the bragging rights? Try $100,000 to the winning team and $25 grand to the runner-up. It's going to be an exciting finish to the first stage of the Overwatch League.
Are you ready? It is time. Welcome back to the Blizzard Arena. This is the first ever stage playoff finals. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Chris Puckett, and I am joined by the desk. We got Sideshow of Madman, your 4th match of the day.
Yeah, I'm not going to miss these games. They're incredible. I get to watch the best team in the league currently play against London and New York. So there we go.
It's a pretty good life here. I like the early calls here. Of course, we've got Bren and Zoe with us as well. And Bren, we are now into the final 2 matches of the day, and these are the biggest we're seeing all stage long.
This is hype. This is what we've been waiting for stage 1. This is almost like the conclusion in a way of this first stage. It's all going to come down to this. The very best teams battling it out.
And Zoe, as we take a look at the remaining schedule, catch everyone up at home. What are we seeing in store today?
Well, the first one is going to be the semifinals. London Spitfire taking on the Houston Outlaws. That's going to be a big one. And the winner of that match is going to be facing off against the NYXL. And keep in mind that the Stage 1 playoffs, none of these games have any impact on the overall Season 1 standings. This is all about bragging rights and all about money.
125 grand up for a performance bonus. We'll see who walks away with the biggest chunk as we welcome our first team of the night. Give it up for the London Spitfire. Coming into the week, London was on top of the standings, but they have lost 3 of their last 5 matches after a 5-0 start. Let's talk a little bit about this, guys. 2 losses this week to Houston and New York already.
Yeah, and I did talk to London about their loss against Houston, and they told me that there were 2 big issues. One, they stuck to their game plan too much. They didn't adapt. They wanted to play it out exactly like they practiced. And second, they also said that it was the Junkrat. They knew what to expect. They knew Czech is going to play Junkrat, but they were still somehow in-game thrown off by it.
Yeah, and I think that when we saw them focusing on the Junkrat, they committed too many resources to taking Jake out early. They weren't able to get crazy picks onto him like we've seen with previous teams where Boston was playing earlier, and that allowed Coolmat and Muma to get into their backlines and completely disrupt the supports.
Yeah, well, I've got high hopes for this London squad now. I feel like they're not going to be making similar mistakes like they did in the past. It's a team that can learn to adapt. They've got great coaching staff across the board, and not to mention fantastic players as well, more than capable of turning this one around and actually taking a win here today.
They're the 6 men representing the UK in our first semi-final matchup. It is time now to introduce their opponents. Please give it up for the squad from Texas. It's the Houston Outlaws. Yeehaw, Coolmat, player of the match. Last time we saw him on the stage earlier in the week. Now he's coming back with the whole crew, and this squad surprised everybody after starting 0-2. They have rattled off some massive wins coming into tonight.
And they're going up against 12-man roster with a lot of subbing possibilities. However, Houston has a small roster, but according to themselves, they can run an infinite amount of comps with those players. Let's see how many of these infinite variations we're actually going to see in the game tonight.
Now, Houston had to fight their way to get here today. They were able to edge out Boston, but that one went all the way to a Game 5. In that victory, who impressed you most, Sideshow?
I think it's got to be this guy right here, Muma. Playing alongside Coolmat, that tank duo was utterly stable. Even when Boston were putting so much pressure on Jake and the tanks, Muma and Coolmat was still able to win that tank-v-tank war. They're going up against some serious competition here, but they've proven that they can step up to this level before.
So much love coming in from the Outlaws. Bren, what are you most excited about for this team?
High velocity gameplay is what I'm looking forward to. I want to see this Jake Rat coming out full force once again, Showing London what. He's already done it in one game. Can he do it again? That's the question marks in my mind. I want to see it here on the stage.
You want to see him showing them the what?
The what?
I love it. We'll see if Jake is here to play today. It's going to be a massive matchup for both of these squads. Both looking, of course, to edge their way into the grand finals against New York a little bit later on. But let's catch everyone up at home. We're now in the playoffs. It's different from the regular season in the fact that now we're playing a best of 5. That means it's the first team to score 3 wins will walk away as our winner. And if it is tied, which we can do here in Overwatch, it'll go back to Lijiang Tower with the tiebreaker. So looking purely at the maps here, let's talk about who has the edge, starting with you, Bren.
So in general, I feel like all of these maps are pretty suited to Houston, with the exception of maybe Ilios and maybe Eichenwald as well, you can make an argument for. But the rest of them, they are pretty much set. They really do suit their play style of Houston Outlaws, where they revolve around Jake on the Junkrat quite well. And I feel like that's going to give them a nice edge here in this matchup against London.
Yeah, they have to stay in it early game, though, because Dorado has been somewhere where they've slipped before as well. It was the game where London were able to take it away from Houston, and so if they can stay in either Dorado or Ilios, they're looking good for the second half of the map pool, but it could be rough early on.
Now, Houston was able to get the big win over London, and we have some of the highlights. Let's take a look back at some of the big moments, because if you remember back to this match, it was Houston that won the first 3 games in the series. It wasn't until that game 4, when the match was officially over, that London locked up their win on Dorado. In the victory, who stood out to you, Zoe?
Well, I think it was kind of a team effort, but I think the Junkrat was the main reason why London really struggled against them. So Jake's play has been absolutely spot on. And when I talked to GM Flame today, he said that they just really prepped well against London in that game. They were ready for everything London will be doing. And if I asked him today about their opponents, London, he said that, you know what, they're actually very predictable.
Very predictable.
Yeah, he actually said that he doesn't really feel like London has an identity. He said that based on the players they're subbing in, they know what to expect. So yeah, they have a lot of subbing possibilities, but according to Flame, his team actually knows what is going to happen based on
easy
those
reads.
lineups. Yeah.
I think it was Bren that once wisely said, I fear not the team that has practiced 1,000 comps. I fear the team that has practiced 1 comp 1,000 times. I feel like that's the matchup here that we've got going on. London's so flexible, but Houston have nailed down 1 composition and a couple of others really well.
All right, we have to get into the match. It's just moments away. Before we get there, real quick, we have to get the official predictions. It's a best of 5. We're starting with Dorado, the map that London won in their first matchup. How does this one play out, starting with you, Sideshow?
I think London haven't had enough time to be able to adapt, and Houston, if anything, will have learned from this. I'm going with I'm going with Houston throughout the entire series, even though they might get off to a rough start.
Any Houston fans cheering alongside Sideshow in this one? Bren, you're up next. Who walks away as the champion in this match?
Team UK, that was my choice for the World Cup, and I'm going with London again today. I'm changing it from last time. Last time I did predict Houston. However, this time I feel like London, I got to give them a bit of credit. They're going to be able to adapt to what Houston are throwing at them. I feel like they're going to take the win.
We had it split 1-1. Zoe, you're the decider once again. Where's the desk going?
You know what? I think because Houston told me that they didn't really prep for the playoffs, this is just icing on the cake. They have nothing to lose. They're going to throw everything at London they got, and I have faith in that. I believe in chaos. I believe in aggression. I believe in the Houston Outlaws.
Los Angeles, are you ready to get this party started? Here it is, the Spitfire going up against the Outlaws. It's time to set it backstage to Mr. X and Uber.
Cheers, love. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We got our birthday, well, not our birthday suits on, my actually birthday suit, to be honest.
I feel weird.
I would wear
got
this for my birthday.
Sweatshirt. Yeah, I still like it though.
This is my Sunday best. And you've got a gold-plated box as well. You've got the good one out of the cupboard for this one.
Yep.
It's going to get scuffed up, ladies and gentlemen. We got our best of 5 just around the corner. And like Puckett said, if we do need a 6th map for whatever reason, we have a tiebreaker, Lijiang will be there. I tell you what, though, it's a map pool that looks pretty darn nice for the Outlaws.
Yeah, obviously the desk talked about it, but Dorado was the one map that you saw Houston drop to the London Spitfire. Ilios was not in the pool the last time. Anubis and Eichenwald both went over to Houston, and Junkertown is arguably one of Houston's best maps. And I think, the desk talked about, London not being able to adapt, really quick in the turnaround between the last match and now. I don't think it's going to be that difficult, to be honest. I think just London needs to run more Junkrat. When the Houston Outlaws are running this anti-dive, they need to answer back with a Junkrat to supply that damage of their own.
And it's not to say that it's beyond the capacity of this team, we just haven't seen a lot of Junkrat from London in general. It's just not something they like to weave into a lot of their compositions.
Well, they've thrown a lot of teams off guard when they do bring Junkrat in, because a lot of the time, you know, they will just play a straight dive with whether it's Prophet or Birdring. I mean, both of them are interchangeable, but most of the time it's Birdring playing Tracer and Prophet playing Genji.
Play Symmetry, you cowards!
They're able to do it. They're not going to. We've gone over this. Yep, there's the switch. Samuma will not be playing Symmetra. He'll be playing Orisa here on the defensive side of things. We also saw Houston get to play this map a little bit earlier, so they've had some practice here on Dorado today.
Decently long walk back for Muma, to be honest. He sat on that
Oh, you got a Symmetra to Huyal as well.
No, not this time. There's a little bit too much on the line, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you understand. London Spitfire may go for this dive composition, but Houston will have a bit of anti-dive, a bit of counter. It's going to be Linkser on the McCree here. Note the lack of Widowmaker on defense here from the Outlaws. Let's get it on, ladies and gentlemen. Map 1 underway.
Linkser against Boston was very effective, you know, at taking out the divers as McCree, so maybe they feel a little bit better, you know, running the McCree instead of Widowmaker here on defense. It looks like, I know, Cool Matt was on the payload for a quick second, just contesting it for a little bit, and then it's going to back up. Going to play behind the Orisa barrier.
Houston very willing to get that high ground up. You see the little tea party between Prophet and Birdring while they just waited, and they saw no one up there. So the Outlaws have already backed away. They're ready to hold their ground from a safer position, but Cool Matt's the man on point right now. Getting a bit of information, radioing back the position of flankers such as Tracer, but I don't think they noticed Prophet. He might have gotten through their net of spies, and it looks like all Raucous, he was low. Prophet gets the finish with the D-suit there on a Cool Matt. Prophet now looking for his next target as Muma puts a new barrier up.
Really good start for the London Spitfire. It'll be Bonnie using the res to bring Raucous back up, so you still have Cool Matt D-mech'd here. The payload has made significant progress. Now Cool Matt's in a position to hide behind his shield, but they have to deal with Prophet.
Now Prophet now looking to, again, strike the killing blow on many of these targets at low health, but it's not going to work. Jake pursues him there, and it's a concussive mind to send him packing. Follow that with Riptire, why not? And Jake finds 2 kills to highlight the end of the fight. That'll be it.
And Nuss ends up using his Valkyrie in that fight, so it'll be a fight that the London Spitfire lose when they use their Valkyrie. That'll give the support ultimate advantage over to the Houston Outlaws. And Jake with the Riptire is going to be able to build up to it rather quickly, as Bonnie will have Valkyrie, Raucous will have Transcendence. You also have Linkser with a Deadeye to zone some of these players out.
Not what Gesture would have liked, I don't think. He'll have to go the long way around it. Notice how the Outlaws are using Cool Matt there. They're using him to go forward and you know, peek, get information and work over the sides of these walls, just to give a bit of early warning to the Outlaws.
Yeah, you know, Cool Matt's just kind of searching for information here, and Muma's just playing on the cart to pretend, you know, pretend it so they can't move. As you see, Linkser.
This could be bad.
Oh, and this is not going to be good.
What? Good move for a London Spitfire fan, that's for sure. Birdring goes in, Pulse Bomb attempted here. It's going to be Prophet to fall down. Jake now is still in position, but the rest of the Outlaws have kind of been shunted away from the payload. It's Vanny and Jake trying to stay alive. Gesture very low, having to back up for a little bit, and Birdring has seen better days. I'll be honest with you, Matt. Cool Matt's back on the point now with Bedos going down. Cool Matt sustained through a lot of this damage, and Raucous giving him that Harmony Orb. He's able to stand up and do a lot of stalling here. Now Muma's back.
Yeah, and Cool Matt has a self-destruct. It'll be Huyal with his self-destruct, sends it into the back line.
Nothing.
Doesn't connect with anything. It'll be Nuss using his Valkyrie, bringing Huyal back up. Gesture falls at the hands of Jake, and that'll be a Riptire.
Yep, everyone's going to back away from this one. At least a disengage, at most a complete fight finish. But Huyal is supposed to come back in. He wants to tank out that tire. He's going to get picked up as a result here. The Spitfire are making minimal progress right now. The Outlaws holding strong, but it's a Dragon Blade from Prophet. There could be something here, but no, Raucous straight with the Transcendence. Prophet can't get anything done. Too much healing. He's still desperately trying to cut through Bunny, but he's just not getting there. And now Birdring the fall of Jake. Once again, the Junkrat causing so many woes to the Spitfire.
And it's the same thing we saw Raucous do against Boston in their previous series of the day. He was just holding on to that Transcendence for when Dreamcaster popped the blade, and he was able to get no value out of it. Birdring switches from Tracer to Widowmaker and try and just get a pick at range, because he knows they're not going to have a shield on the other side, because Muma has switched off of Orisa, goes over to Winston.
Jake chewing away like a cow to pasture. That's definitely helping his confidence and concentration, because now it's 24 seconds left.
So they can build up Valkyrie very quick here, London. Gesture could use the Primal Rage, take a ton of damage. Nuss can just pocket him on through, and you may get another Valkyrie here.
Birdring to the Widowmaker here. He needs to get an early pick. He must open this fight up, or the Outlaws are going to be able to stand tall. All links are down early. Bedosen was actually the one to find that one. I don't think Bunny can get to him. Hoover following here. That's the resurrect, at least on Links now. He's back in the fight, but Bunny now is removed. He's punished for his arrogance to think he can even go for the resurrect. But you know, Cool Matt, He leapt upon Birdring to remove him now. Overtime has begun. Coolmat with the Bunny Blast to try to work down Nas, but he wasn't able to find the kill. Primal Rage for Jester now. Jake trying to back away, but he's getting shunted up against the wall. And the Spitfire may have found some momentum here.
Yeah, Muma's just trying to knock players off of the payload here for the Houston Outlaws. There's just too many players for the London Spitfire still up. Bonnie comes back here to try and heal him up.
He's being chased by Prophet. Pulse Bomb was dropped, but Bunny avoids it now. He's able to keep Muma healed up. Muma stays on the payload for now, and now the reinforcements are here. The Birdring shutting them down. Oh, that's 2 already. That is nasty stuff, and in the nick of time, the Spitfire get it done off the back of some nice finesse from Birdring.
It is not easy for the London Spitfire. They barely get point A taken. So now they'll advance through the map. Nuss towards the end there, switches off. Now tries to get to Doomfist, get back towards the point, so you'll reset the ultimate percentage on the Mercy. Lingser will now play Widowmaker to try and counter Birdring with that high ground advantage as we move into the second portion of the map.
I love how much confidence the Outlaws have in Coolmat to use him as this like floating player, often keeping an eye on flanks, making sure no one can get through. It's tough to 1v1 him. He's got to get de-seated here though. That's not what he was looking for. Gets chunked very low. Birdring puts one into him and Gesture just makes a pancake out of the man. Lynx at least gets Gesture in response. Lynx is actually doing some work there. You can see Birdring is trying to dig him out, but he's got no sightlines right now. Well, Lynx still has a lot of freedom, a lot of room to work. The Spitfire have been corralled into the church here. Prophet saying his prayers. See that trap keeps him in place.
Lynx are just picking up those kills. It forces Birdring to try and scout him out, and Birdring can't get him from that sightline that he had all the way on that right-hand side. It's going to force Birdring to change his angle. Lynxer will as well as Birdring connects with a shot on Abani. He'll have to back down. Rockets with the Transcendence if Houston wants to get aggressive.
Rumor snuck into the back line, but thought better of it. Prop though, Pulse Bomb doesn't quite connect. He actually takes a big hit on the way down. Was forced to recall. Lisa! 2 from 2. Accuracy on point. Nas might be caught here as well. No. Orba Farmley keeps him standing for now, but there's 54 seconds left. Time again.
They're going to get Birdring, so they use the infrared sight. They see Birdring over by the Mega Health Pack in the courtyard. He has to go retreat all the way to the side. They just send Muma in there after him, takes him out. So now you're going to have to wait for Birdring. He will have the infra sight here for the London Spitfire, so you'll be able to know exactly where everybody on Houston's playing. Houston with both support ults, and they have a self-destruct to clear the payload.
Birdring's just used infra sight now. Spitfire have all the information they need to make the informed decision about how to start this fight. You'll see the Riptide coming as well, but it won't save Gesture. He actually has to use Primal Rage prematurely there just to keep himself alive. The Spitfire don't have a margin of error. They can't afford to lose a player at this point. No one's on the payload right now. There's more fighting to be done. A move decides to get Hog Wild himself. Nas avoids him. There's a self-destruct here for Coolmat. He'll want it for the resuit if it's possible. Bedosian's taken down early in the fight. It's going to be brought back immediately by Nas. Both Valkyries are now in play. Both teams giving it all. They're unloading all the ultimates somehow. Bedosian falls again. Self-destruct found him, but Birdring wins the 1v1 Widow duel against Lynxer. Coolmat's trying to chase. Gesture down. Nas escaping over towards his team, but that's the safe haven of the Transcendence now employed.
So because Bedosian falls to that self-destruct, they're forced to use both resurrections out of the Valkyrie to bring Bedosian back in because he has the Transcendence. But Huya will fall.
Coolmat going huge right now. The Riptide is just an insurance policy. The London Spitfire just behind the 8 ball a couple times in this map. The Outlaws made it so costly for them to even make meter progress.
And that last fight when Bedosian falls early, they pop Valkyrie, they bring him back up. You want to save one of those other reses for a tank, right? Just get rid of those larger HP targets on the point.
Look, they're chasing him. They want it with Bedosian.
They take him out, and then they're going to have to use that second res onto him. That's just the cleanup kills there from Coolmat.
3 kills and a DMEC from Coolmat there. That boy was all about town.
So he has a pretty good first half, 14 eliminations, 8 final blows. Only 3 deaths. As Jake actually, with Junkrat, I mean, it's just such a big difference maker. 17 elims, 10 final blows, 31% of overall team damage.
I mean, you could see what he was doing, especially on that first point. That was where Jake was really shining. Prophet and Birdring were having a lot of difficulties getting up close and personal to the backline of the Outlaws because Jake just kept throwing out the concussive mine. Not only doing damage, but if they survive it, they get knocked back. Especially if you're a Genji and you don't have another Swift Strike available, that's very frustrating getting displaced halfway to your target.
And in a meta where you can play a little bit looser and more aggressive, where you're able to just get resurrected by Mercy.
You're trying to be nice, I know it, man.
Just having the Junkrat just be able to just really hurt people, right? Like really penalize them for getting aggressive. Like, that's what you wanted on your side for. Now you see London So they talked about it a little bit. Now having the Junkrat on this map, this is the one that they took over Houston the last time. They brought the Junkrat in. Will it be enough now on their defensive side? This is just going to become a thing now.
Yep. Boys like a bit of future armor, I'm down with that. But that's the $100,000 question, Matt. The Outlaws now, it's nice to set the goal for yourself. Now they know how far they need to get, and to be honest, it's easily within their potential to get them. The Spitfire have to batten down the hatches and get ready to hold out for a long winter.
And the Outlaws are going to go triple tank, so Raucus will play Roadhog a lot like what we saw earlier in the Boston match. Linkser jumps up, sees Eureka barrier, Birdring behind, he's like, nope, I ain't fighting that. So they'll run triple tank. Bonnie will be able to just farm all these big targets and get Valkyrie rather quickly.
The pick potential here from Raucus as well is not something to be underestimated. Oh, this man, he'd love a bit of Medosin right now. He's happy with whatever he gets though. Pressuring Wuya. Again, having to take a breather. Oh! Doesn't quite survive it. Perhaps bit off a little bit more than he could chew. Oh! Birdring at the hop, skip and a jump and a headshot. Linkser felled as he tries to challenge out the opposition Widowmaker. He is brought back for a second crack at it.
Yeah, because Jake is just spamming this choke here and they're not able to pick up any kills. Now, Nussus farmed his Valkyrie rather quickly as well. And look at Medosin. I mean, he's rapidly going up towards the Transcendence. So when you have the Junkrat, the bad thing about it is if you don't finish off these kills, you're just giving the supports on the opposing team so much ultimate percentage.
Jake and Prophet both trading out those concussive mines, both just trying to stay out of sight while getting damage done. Junkrat's an indirect damage dealer. Oh, Prophet, he's caught though, he's dead! Straight to the bread basket, and now Jake gonna follow up with a Riptide. They know it's open season. He thought about the winner, but no, he'll have Birdring. Tries to rappel to escape, but he won't get it done. Another hook on towards Medosin, and that's momentum!
Well, it's just getting that third kill for Houston. They have two players dead. Nuss uses Valkyrie. What do? They pop the tire, it forces Nuss all the way back. They pick up the one more. You can't res everybody up. It just makes it pretty costly at that point. I mean, for London, right, you go in and get those reses, you're just going to get more ult percentage to the side of Houston Outlaws.
The Spitfire no longer have that Orisa shield in place. Linkser now has much more clement sight lines to work with. The Spitfire are in a position where they can take control of this game, though. They need to shut Linkser down. Birdring is still at large, and Birdring has been stepping up to the task. They've got a Riptide here from Prophet. Already Jake's down. That's a good start as well. And now Prophet doesn't have to worry about Jake using a concussive mine to instantly blow up his Riptide if he tries to win a team fight with it.
Yeah, Linkser use the inference. They try and get an angle onto Birdring here. And yeah, maybe if they get that pick onto Birdring, they go all in. You see the Valkyrie come out. You see the push start to come through for the Houston Outlaws, because you're going to have Supercharger rather soon as well. It'll be Riptire used by Prophet. Doesn't get anything with it.
He went down as well. Coolmat picked him off while he was challenged.
There it is.
Okay, it's delayed, but it finds its mark. Jake's just going to be res straight up though, and so is Moomer. He's down for a split second before studiously he's brought back to life by Banny, who's just been on point now with those reses. Oh, nuts! That's not where you want to get caught at all. And Linkser finds the body shot. It's all he needed for such a low health target. The Outlaws getting close now, man. They get real close. It's 3 minutes to go. Where are the Spitfire? Nowhere to be seen. Map 1 done. Outlaws in the head. In the lead. And I mean, they paved the way with a sick defense, man.
Yeah, Houston just really turned up there on map 1. And to remind you, that is a map that London took against Houston in their matchup. And now for it to go in Houston's favor, the series is theirs to take.
Well, this transatlantic stoush, man, already starting to deliver. From big entrances, pointy hats, and some big old Junkrat play from both sides there. The Spitfire knew this would be a tough one. The Outlaws now are out for blood, Matt. They won't stop till they're done. The gauntlet continues after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
way to start this push here for Houston Outlaws.
I think they're not going to be ready for what we're going to bring next time. We get in their face and we disrupt.
London Spitfire take down 3 in quick order.
Not what you were expecting.
플레이오프 때 기다리고 있겠습니다.
We're going 100% every single game.
Oh, are you kidding me, Linksa?
Prophet, his tire, it's low, but it's still deadly.
우리가 더 잘하는데.
This is it, the big play, the turning moment.
We're going to take control of the game.
Houston Outlaws, what have you done? Well, Matt, the top speed of a Spitfire is about 360 miles an hour. I tell you what, the Outlaws are way faster on that particular map. Blitzing, especially through that second phase of Dorado. And the Spitfire kind of gave it away for themselves. They struggled to make any gains at all, progress on the attacking side.
It's a lot like the Boston match. Boston, a very aggressive team, a lot like London, very like dive heavy, so to speak. And they go up against Houston, who loves to play this defensive style built around Jake and the Junkrat, and they're just able to stop these dives from coming in. Just so much burst damage. How does London change their gameplay up a little bit?
Jake and the Junkrat would be a great children's book series if it didn't involve him massacring everybody all the time. Perhaps we need to make some edits there. But it's interesting how we see some of these very aggressive or dive-oriented teams sometimes have problems on their defense. I mean, there's always a risk involved with being dive-y as a comp. We did see the Junkrat attempted by the Spitfire when it came to the defense, but it just wasn't enough to plug it down. But Fury's coming in here for Wuya, so I'll switch up in that flex tank position.
Yeah, we've seen both the off tanks for London quite often throughout the season. You know, both of them are very good. As we go into Ilios, we get to see potentially, Birdring versus Linkser again if we get Ruins come into play. Jake could play Farah here for Houston on a lot of the points. It'll start out on Lighthouse, so get a chance to see what both teams decide to do here. Potentially, okay, so Houston we saw do in the previous series when they saw Dreamcast pull out Farah as they ran double hit scan. Looks like here, at least early, they had the double hit scan. Obviously, a lot of time to change. Something of note also, Boink doesn't come in for Bonnie. Bonnie usually always comes out for Houston when we go into control maps. Didn't come out for Lijiang Tower in the previous series.
Yeah, I discussed this actually with Coolmat outside in between the games. And he said to me is that if we run into Ruins, we can't really run Lucio on that map. It's not really practical. We need the Mercy for the reses to answer. We don't make a pick. So we actually would rather run Bunny just at the moment because he's got that more playtime on Mercy and it give us a bit more, of a robust approach if it does go to Ruins. So it's reasonable. Bunny, obviously, a player with a huge repertoire of Furies. It kind of sucks because we see some of these players just play Mercy for the entire stage, whereas Bunny's like an insane Ana player. He's just got a sick repertoire of supports, but he plays what he's supposed to play.
So it looks like London, they've kind of locked their comp in. Maybe we see Nuss switch to Mercy once he gives the speed boost, but Birdring will play McCree, probably expecting a Farah on the other side, and it'll be that double hit scan setup that comes out from the Houston Outlaws. It'll be Jake playing 76, Linkser playing McCree.
Okay, this is interesting. So Bunny doesn't go for any sort of Lucio play. He just fancies having the resurrect there. No Farah, of course, but there's still plenty of pocketing to be done. Same to be said of Nuss, of course. And Birdring would just like to, if he can get a couple of headshots in here or get an early pick, force perhaps Bunny into a position where he has to make himself vulnerable by going for a resurrect, that's worth it. Just a bit of back and forth, and Raucus is the first player to fall. Prophet finds his mark. Linkser, very lucky to get out alive, but Prophet cleaned up on that kill.
Yeah, you get Raucus back up, but Linkser does fall. It's gonna force Houston to back out just a little bit as the point will go. Oh, okay, gonna be Muma contesting it. It will go over to the London Spitfire, though. They will get on the point. Coolmat, as Muma's contesting it, he goes behind enemy lines, takes out Bedos, and Prophet falls as well. Houston may be able to make something out of this.
Yeah, Prophet made the mistake of chasing Muma away after he'd given up an attempt at contesting the point. Good response here from Fury. Oh, he might have bitten off more than he can chew here. He might go down to the self-destruct. No, he gets away from it. Fury's mech, though, was destroyed. Bunny blasted Coolmat. Never underestimate the man, and somehow the Outlaws have gotten back to the point here. Spitfire shunted aside.
And Nuss uses Valkyrie there, and Linkser takes him out right on the point. So you use that big Mercy ult, don't get much for it. As when you use Valkyrie, you have to extend that fight longer, right? You need to get a lot of percentage on it. 24% isn't a ton for London. Houston's going to be able to come back and match this. Birdring, though, with an early pick, he just destroys Linkser, takes out Mua. The guy is so deadly on any hero. Picking up those 2 kills may give the point back to London.
Not much that Jake can really do from this position. He'll try and get a little bit of damage, maybe if he can find a pick, but he knows he has to eject as soon as possible. It appeared that Linkser maybe attempted to opt into a duel against Birdring. Muma was there, but I guess Spitfire must have just had the players that managed to jump on the fact that the Outlaws had, 2 individuals that were playing away from the rest of the pack. Happens. But this puts the London Spitfire back in the lead, and they're looking good. Birdring, excellent play on McCree so far in this round. He's definitely been winning off those head-to-heads. This far, at least. 2 final blows, 1 death, solid.
See how sneaky he's playing, and he's just gonna
flash.
Oh, almost takes out Jake. Jake gonna put down the bionic field.
Oh,
Run! Use the tag visor here.
The tag visor! He's
Look
trying
at
to
the move
escape.
by Birdring.
Oh, there's no way you're getting away, my friend. Oh, okay. Tactical crouch. Just dropping T crates, Matt, the usual. And now Jake's gonna make his way back to the point. He's like that salty guy in quick play who knows you've got him beaten. He just pops the ult, but it worked out. Good decision from Jake. It's tough to get really good tactical visors going up against world-class divas, so he uses it to get himself out of a bind, give his team a man advantage, and deny a potential res on that position.
I was shocked Birdring didn't take him out. No, Birdring with the flashbang.
He was waiting for his flash cooldown.
Yeah, usually always able to pick those kills up. Linkser has a Deadeye, potentially middle of the map. You use that to zone players out. Your Deadeye, really often you're going to see like these 3 or 4Ks with the Deadeye, as Prophet will go onto the point for London, just trying to draw some players back here for Houston. Give Prophet a sign. Oh, he's going to just mow through Linkser. Bonnie will fall at the hands of a Deadeye. Bonnie pops his Valkyrie. That is not good for Houston.
Now it's going to be Jake again to try and make something happen. I think he knows he's done. So a bit of stalling wouldn't go awry here, and he does just that. Flashed out by Birdring, removed from the situation. And it's tit for tat stuff. The pendulum swings. But as it comes back in this direction, the Spitfire have 2 support ults. To the Outlaws is 1. They used a Valkyrie in that previous fight, and it didn't win it for them. Not ideal.
Yeah, Birdring just used the Deadeye and was able to just snipe Bonnie out of the sky. So we'll see where Houston decides to push through. Looks like they just keep wanting to go into this corner and challenge Birdring. Be a pulse bomb from Prophet that takes out Bonnie.
Well-laid plans often bear fruit, and Prophet puts the pulse bomb at just the right spot. Now he's going to ask for a little bit more, because why not? Raucous. Torn apart there by Prophet, and he'll be able to back around now, and there's really not enough time for the Outlaws. That's why Prophet chased the extra kills. Mooma doesn't quite make the doorway. Oh, this is dangerous. He's going to have to work his way back towards the point. He keeps overtime going, but he can only weave in and out. But Dosen being down might be the opening. He hasn't been resurrected yet. I don't know if that's even going to happen. Nuss has a Valkyrie channel, but he hasn't brought Dosen back. That's Birdring, though, off from the side. He cleans up Cool Matt, of course, with that Deadeye, and it should all fall apart from here. Lynx is forced to back away from Prophet. He's getting healing from Nuss. He's looking good. He's topped up. He's ready to go, and a Spitfire. They're off the runway, Matt.
Birdring and Prophet come alive here on the first point of map 2. Birdring 9 limbs, 6 final blows. Prophet 12 limbs, 7 final blows. Just both of those players playing great. We're gonna have Well that comes up next, so not going to see Ruins come into equation yet. We're gonna see Well, maybe we see, I know, some Pharah play from the side of Houston here.
What do you think, though, about seeing a 76 and McCree played into a composition on the London Spitfire side that doesn't actually have a Pharah?
Well, what's interesting is that if Houston maybe switched to Junkrat, they actually would have put up a good fight there, right? Because you could have just spammed. You knew where Birdring played the same spot the entire game. You could have just spammed that whole left-hand side. It would have made him just move, change his direction. You
want to play double hit scan, but there's no Pharah to try and pressure.
Yeah.
There was no Pharah. That's the problem. Interesting decision for them on that composition. It's a bit safer to bring a 76, but McCree is by no means, safe and maneuverable in those scenarios.
And now they bring Junkrat in. So Jake will play Junkrat here on Well. See if it swings the tide in Houston's favor.
Jester has a Discord Orban in there. He has to be careful trying to back away, but Linkser catches him in the heel. Fury's going to have to retreat as well. The rest of the Spitfire now. Recharge the engine, so to speak. And Birdring fancies a bit of one-on-one across the map against Linkser. The very satisfying sound of those headshots indicating that Birdring is finding his mark. No kills, as is often the case with McCree, but those first few shots open up for his tanks to finish off these kills. Oh, Rourke is compromising position.
And they already have Gesture back into the fight. Jay comes in for Houston, but it'll be Prophet who gets in, takes out Linkser. Oh man, Prophet just running through the Houston Outlaws. They have zero answer for the way he's playing right now.
Linkser, just stand still and take it, son. The Spitfire now, coming up with the goods. And again, Prophet and Birdring looking incredibly comfortable. Jake and Linkser, not so much. Jake now switching off the Junkrat to the Tracer. Gives some mobility, gives some flexibility. Also some capacity to pressure backliners.
It allows them to play as aggressive as London is playing right now. And before, they were just kind of having to play a little bit defensive, just trying to get these picks. They're not able to do it. Dosen takes out Bonnie at the beginning. Now Houston will have to back all the way up. This is really good for the London Spitfire. An early pick from Dosen takes out the other Mercy who has Valkyrie, not going to be able to use it right now. You know, 35% and counting with the way this map is. You know, this point, it can be stalled out for so long. London's going to get a lot of percentage out of this.
Bedosian again, pretty much wins a fight single-handedly with an early pick. Birdring just looks to compound the issue, but Linksa gives him a peek, tempts him into taking the Deadeye shot, and he goes for it. Now Bedosian's finally down, a bit of a resurrect here for Nas to bring him back up. He's been such a menace. Birdring now getting harassed by Jake. He doesn't even know where that came from. He just knows he got hurt. He was down to 70 on HP. Linksa being resurrected. Gesture trying to hold the door, and now time for the Primal Rage here. Linksa would like to get out of here. Raucus needs to be careful. Getting knocked into the pit by a Winston with trans is not ideal. Looks like the Spitfire happy to wait it out though. Prophet and Birdring once again chime in, find their picks, and Raucus is all on his own. No one coming to save him this time. Linksa's a little bit late to the party. He'll fall before Coolmat gets involved.
London has been dominant here on Ilios. If both support ults used for the Houston Outlaws, London able to hold on to the point. They will have another Deadeye, and they will have Transcendence for what will most likely be the final fight here.
Houston have not been a presence on this map whatsoever. If there's any time to go, Matt, it's gonna be now, but Bunny, again, harassed down by Prophet, doesn't find a kill, but a pulse bomb will do the job, you better believe it! It's both Bunny and Raucus go the way of the weary, and Prophet for him is just too easy. The London Spitfire now answer back, and this is just such a commanding lead. There's no chance, it's unassailable. And they'll make it a 1-1 series.
Prophet finishes the map, 24 limbs, 1 death, 15 final blows. That is more final blows than Jake and Linksa combined. Just a dominant performance from Prophet there on the Tracer. Houston had zero answer for him throughout that entire map.
Some relief is there for the Spitfire, a confidence boost as well. You know, Outlaws are brash talking boys coming up the stage with a lot to show. But the Spitfire have a lot to prove. Last time it was 3-1 in favor of the Outlaws, but they're back. They want that title match. They want the Stage 1 championship. We've got more in this best of 5 to come after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
It's time for halftime. Welcome back to the Blizzard Arena. We are all knotted up 1-1 between the Houston Outlaws and the London Spitfire. Welcome back. I'm Puckett. I'm joined at the desk. We got the great Brits, Mr. Bren, Sideshow, back with us once again. This is match number 4, halftime number 4 for you, Sideshow. Give me the thoughts early on because it's all tied up 1 apiece. But the games have been pretty one-sided if you look at them individually.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Houston did so well on Dorado, actually, because that was the game that London took from them previously. But the KDs of just Jake and Linkser, let me read you these. 14 for 5 on Jake.
Okay.
13 for 7 on Linkser. That's ridiculous. They combined for 27 kills and only 12 deaths. These guys were going crazy. On the first defense round, Jake is almost impenetrable in this little room. It takes until about 10 seconds left before they're finally able to break it. This guy's amazing on the Junkrat.
Can't get the rat out.
I love that Jake said as well in the little pre-clip that we showed that they're not going to be ready for next time. That's what he said about London, and they just didn't really change anything. They just continued running the sort of Junkrat compositions they were running on Dorado, and were having great success to it. And I mean, again, I'm confused. Dorado was the map that London won here, and yet there's still Houston coming out on top, and they haven't really changed up their playstyle too much.
Sideshow, what was going wrong for this London squad? Because it wasn't until 35 seconds were left in the time bank that they switched Bird Ring over to the Widowmaker and were finally able to capture point A. Why were they running into such a brick wall there from our Houston Outlaw squad?
Well, I think that's just the nature of Dorado A, right? Jake can hide in this little house and he outputs so much damage from the Junkrat, but then when you move over to B, that's where I think they had real issues because they weren't even able to push it all the way through B. And at that point, it comes down to why are you trying to play Houston at their own game? Why have you got Profit still on the Junkrat? You can't play this composition as well as Houston can. So use the depth of your roster. Go play dive. Try and maybe focus their tanks a little bit more. Play some double hit scan. See if you can take Moomer and Coolman out of the discussion. I think they were kind of chopping and changing and not quite as good as Houston.
One of the big notes I had here were tank war won by Houston early on. Bren, what did you see in the second game? Did that continue?
So in the second game, it absolutely did, to be honest, but on a different level. So there was a lot of focus being pressured onto Jake, and Jake was caught out of positions a couple of times as well in terms of on Ilios itself. We noticed this quite often in terms of his actual positioning, but in general, the tanks were still playing well for Houston. It's just London had the edge in terms of Profit just absolutely clutching out of his mind. This entire game, this man popped off. Birdring not so much, but he still had a great performance. I mean, here we're going to see him playing Ring Around the Roses with Jake. We don't see the conclusion of that, but it doesn't end well for Birdring. I'll tell you that one for free. However, like, Profit went absolutely mental. He had 15 final blows this game on Ilios on this map. 1 death. That's the entire map.
15-1.
15-1.
This was the little flank that you were talking about as well.
Yeah,
Birdring,
yeah.
Because that just takes Jake completely out of the situation. If you're able to catch him unawares like that, normally Jake's awareness is so good and he doesn't get caught out. But if you can get him caught out like that and then start the snowball running, very difficult for the Houston Outlaws to get back into it. They're all about territory control.
And while this game was playing out, we noticed something that we saw from the Houston Outlaws, and it's evident they were watching New York excel because they ran the very similar comp that New York did in their victory over London. Unfortunately for Houston, London was ready for him this time around. Why did the double hit scan not work out?
Yeah, I think the way so to set it up, the composition that the Houston Outlaws were running was exactly the same as New York. So they have a Soldier 76 on the high ground alongside their Zenyatta, and then they had Linkser on the McCree kind of further around the point. And that sets London up. Do you want to dive the McCree? Do you want to dive the Soldier 76? And I think London had adapted that and were really focusing on shutting down Jake on the Soldier 76. And Linkser wasn't quite able to make use of the space, whereas previously London had made the opposite decision, had dived the low ground, trying to take Pine out of the equation, and Sabiolbi had minced them. So that's a nice adjustment coming out from London.
We've got a new swap up in our map order. We're going to remind you how it all plays out right now for the playoffs. Remember, this is a best of 5. First team to walk away with 3 map wins will be our winner and moving on to that finals against the New York Excel. When you look at our next 3, we got Anubis, we got Eichenwald, we got Junkertown, and Anubis and Eichenwald were both won by Houston in the first matchup against London. Bren, how does this play out? Because if you look at the picks, nothing is accurate if you look at the past now in this match.
That's very true, and I'm actually going to change my prediction again. To Houston, a classic Bren move.
Flippy
I'm going
Bren.
to Houston now. I'm going to change it, and we'll see who wins, and then I might change it again once we find out who wins.
I like that you changed your prediction, but didn't win over a single fan in this audience. No one cheered for you. Sideshow, how do you see this playing out second half?
Well, I said that London had to come out storming. They had to be 2-0 at the half, I think, to have a chance in this series. Anubis, and then Eichenwald, and then also Junkertown. These are 3 of Houston's best maps. They're going to take this series, I think. Both so strong.
Both of the analysts are calling Houston Outlaws. Do we have any London fans in the venue? Anyone want to see the Spitfire in the grand final? We'll see if they can get a big win. Game number 3 is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. It's Anubis when we return.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
Tied up 1-1. I think it's safe to say that London was a little bit salty about losing that match to the Outlaws earlier this week, and they're trying to get revenge. They're getting their run back right now, and they want to move on to face off against the NYXL. Who will prevail? Let's find out and send it on over to our casters, Mr. X and Uber.
Thank you very much, Malik. Now, Matt, the desk seems to have flipped, I guess, entirely in the direction of the Houston Outlaws. I mean, Sideshow is saying that, you know, London needed obviously a 2-map lead to start with. Do you agree with this assessment?
Well, look, the next 3 maps are very good for the Houston Outlaws. They took out London on 2 of them. You know, the Anubis, one of them coming up next, but it was a different lineup for the London Spitfire. So they're going to keep the same roster in that we saw in Ilios. The only change that they made so far this series, you know, with a roster of 12 players, you expect a lot of subs. It was just Huyal who played map 1. Fury has come in since then. The other day when they played, they had Hagapud and Closer in as their supports. They're going to leave Vidosin and Nuss in the game this time.
How interesting. I mean, we talked about this team initially being formed of you know, mostly, you know, the Kongdu line up and then Jisoo Busan, and they've just meshed completely together now. And of course, they're at the point clearly where they can just go with whoever they choose, depending on the situation. So the Outlaws may have gone up against a Spitfire on this map before, but not the same lineup, not exactly. Perhaps there's some surprises in store from the Spitfires.
And you also have to think too, with players as good as London has, and you know how great their coaching staff is that the more games you play against the team, you get used to their play style, right? You get used to their looks, what they're going to do in different types of situations in terms of, you know, ult usage and whatnot. That, you know, maybe London, you know, they get some more looks at Houston. They're able to crack this code of how do we dive against this Junkrat on the opposing side.
Now, the setup will be the Houston Outlaws on defense, and when you see that early main, you know that they're going to have a little bit of, you know, tank presence on the high ground.
The green wall.
And Banny just basically speeding Links it back so he can quickly switch to the Widowmaker and still have time to set up properly. So, this is tricksy, purely because there's not really much that Birdring can do to beat Linkser in a 1v1. Lynx is going to be standing behind a big old barrier, whereas Birdring's going to have to go it alone.
You will probably see Birdring switch unless they're able, well, actually, so this is like going to the luxuries of the London Spitfire, right? You know, Prophet can run Genji here. You can have that dive go up towards that high ground, and maybe you can create some space for Birdring to be able to land some shots as Widowmaker.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's about to get hot. And no, it's not because we're in the desert. It's time for map 3. One apiece here. Once again, Coolmat acting as the vanguard for this team. Reading the team composition and the setup here for the Spitfire, relaying that information back to his teammates.
He's got to be careful, though. I mean, he's still up on that higher archway. Now he's going to start to fly back towards the rest of his team. Linkser just trying to connect with some shots. So instead of a halt hook combination, you're going with a halt and then a Widowmaker headshot here. See if they can open it up, as you know, Jake's going to be responsible for just, you know, walling this whole area off. Prophet is actually underneath Linkser on that right-hand side, trying to get a flank.
Oh, Jake's getting the heck out of dodge and gets, oh, he's triggered. He's down. See the bad trap finding its mark. Jake quickly getting out of dodge and leaving a little bit of a present behind. It's a 1-for-1 though. Raucus was felled. Fanny's able to bring him back to life now, and you can see there's a constant concern about a player behind the setup of the Outlaws here.
Yes, Birdring has gotten behind enemy lines. So he played Widowmaker for a quick second, now went over to Tracer.
Jake does not like that at all.
No, and we've seen them have, you know, a lot of teams have some issues, right, where one player gets stuck, you know, behind point A here, and they're not able to get that guy back in the equation, but it'll be London with the push again.
Cool map, ice cold. Great response to Jesh's positioning there, and just follows up, and now, oh, the micro rockets! Not much of a Dosen left there. And Nuts can't even bother going for the Resurrect. The Outlaws are slapping back in the face of the Spitfire. Not allowing them to infiltrate the defenses. Now there might be some stagger action here. We've seen this from a few teams, Matt. This one player on the attack, flanking wide. There's 2 this time, though.
Yes, there's 2. Prophet and Birdring now are stuck all the way in the back, as Coolmat's just kind of darting around back there looking for him. Prophet getting close to a blade. Maybe this is a set play from London.
Double support ults here for the Outlaws. They need to pick up support first, London, if they want to make any progress. They almost got Banny. He's low. Now he's going for the Valkyrie. He's going to get that out of combat regeneration instantly. It's going to help his durability in this fight. And then Jake descends upon Gesture once again. The Dragonblade finds Linkser, but it's instantly rezzed out. Prophet doesn't care about your tire. He's going to slash your tires. You ain't leaving the garage today. But it may not matter, because Coolmat's found a big double down, getting the DC on Fury and removing Prophet with that self-destruct. And then he finds a third. Dosen down. Birdring trying to deal with Jake, but he's forced into a recall, and now when he has 80 HP, Lynx is looking for him. He's on the hunt. Birdring needs to get out. Just alive. 22 HP. No. Tactical crouch, of course.
Doesn't work the best on the run.
No.
Usually kill the opponent, then the tactical crouch comes out. Both support also burn there for the Houston Outlaws. You still have Transcendence for the London Spitfire, but time not on their side, Mitch. Only 1 minute and 15 to go.
Again, it's tough to make good use of a Transcendence here. Especially if you're dead. That's not ideal. The Dosen should get resurrected by Nust, theoretically.
Well, I mean, you would think in theory, but Jake is in a position where he can just spam his body, so you're not going to be able to get back there safely. You're going to have to wait for Badosin, and this opens up an opportunity where Houston, they pick up one more player, and they're able to just get a huge advantage.
They're going to go anyway, Matt. There's no time to wait. Jake getting taken very low. Banny keeping him healed up. Look at how diligent Banny has been in keeping Jake and Co nice and topped up. Once again, Jake, though, getting slapped around the place, and this time, Bidosin was there to follow up on the work that was done by Gesture, just getting in there, of course. Primal Rage doing the job. Muma has to drop down now. That Fortify's going to wear off. He's going to be just as vulnerable as his teammates, and he's down. Cool Matt, mini diva form. No dice, and a Spitfire now, or at least on the road here. But they've been cost about 4 minutes trying to get the first point.
Yeah, they're able to pick up 2 kills there, London, at the beginning. They take Jake out, a lot of that damage not on the table for Houston. Then they get Raucous. They're able to just use a Primal Rage from Gesture to just finish off some players. They knock Body all the way back to pretty much point B. You know, London, they're going to have Valkyrie here, and they're going to have Blade. Maybe they can turn this into something.
Build the momentum. Spitfire now. Again, Cool Matt, just always the first responder. He actually gets a lot of free damage into Fury and causes London to have to pause. Gesture also taking damage from left and right. The Outlaws are springing forth from the main temple and getting some poke damage and then just backing away safely. Prophet, though, I think he's going to commit to this one. Banny in his sights. Have a Harmony Orb on him. The Reptile claims too. Nasa's trying to salvage the situation, quickly reses both Prophet and Gesture, but they've lost Fury's spec in the meantime. The Dragonblade is going to have to go for it, no choice. Jake's down, looking for Cool Matt now, he's got him. Surely Linksa, though, responds with a pulse bomb on towards the big Winston, but Prophet's not done yet. He'll be up on the point. Muma now as well, looking quite healthy, and Rourke is looking like a snack for Prophet to eat up. It's got to be the Transcendence, and Prophet's getting out of there. He's done his job, he's forced that ultimate. Time to call it a day.
You will have your own Transcendence as well for London. Coming back in, they do get Bonnie, so maybe, okay, I thought they were going to try and, like, reset up and get a push off this.
Gesture still wants to go in.
Gesture wants to go in. He's got Fury and Murdering there with him.
Okay, they want this first tick. Gesture backs away now. Transcendence forced by Muma. Nice work, but he needs to make sure he gets out alive himself. He wants to go for even more, though. He might have to give his life up. Primal Rage was used, and Cool Matt is also looking worse for wear. But it's okay for the Outlaws, because Lynx has managed to remove Birdring for the situation. Chase here on towards Muma, and he's down. Finally, this is such a scrap fest here. Looks like the Spitfire don't want to give up these pushes halfway through. And the Outlaws are more than happy to meet them in the middle.
And I think, you know, Houston is being so aggressive right now. London wants to punish it. They're going to have Prophet play Reaper, and Birdring is going to play Junkrat. So a lot of damage. If you want to get aggressive, Muma and Cool Matt, we are going to deal with you with all of our damage coming in through the front.
This is what I like to call a cactus composition, Matt. They're prickly. You don't want to get too close to London Spitfire. Otherwise, you'll be regretting it. Nasa's low, but protected by some big and bulky bodies of his tank line. Linksa doesn't want to burn his recall yet, but he has to. He just took too much damage there. And now Muma's down. Prophet's got himself embedded deep in enemy territory, and Birdring's removed Linksa with the trap. Linksa's been running around trying to get HP, and he gets picked up. Valkyrie, though, for Banning. Linksa's back. Self-destruct there for Cool Matt, and now I need to get the mech again. Bit of a long-range Junkrat off there. Doesn't work out as Gesture. Just crashes the party, and Jake is removed, and Prophet. Oh dear, he's got the Death Blossom. This could be nasty. Linksa needs to respect this, as does Cool Matt.
When he decides to use it, it'll be Transcendence that comes out for Raucous. Raucous knows he's in trouble. He's like, I'm going back the other way. He's like, not going to get anything with that Transcendence as I believe London gets their second tick. Birdring takes out Linksa. Now the point is contested. Muma standing here with Ryan, not going to do much.
Prophet now wants to deal with Muma, gets him there. It's just a one melee attack. The Spitfire down. Whoa, now it's time for the Death Blossom, and Banny gets absolutely removed, deleted from the game. Cool Matt trying to stay alive again. Evasive maneuvers is hard to watch, I know, but Cool Matt has a plan. Trying to drag this one out as long as possible, but the Spitfire will take it off. Keep your tray tables up, your seats in an upright position to keep those seat belts fastened. They're far from done. And that's a better performance on Anubis than we saw prior against the Outlaws.
And it was a great adjustment from London. I don't think Houston really saw that one coming, in the fact that you had Birdring play Junkrat. It's usually Prophet who plays a lot of the Junkrat for this team. Prophet played Reaper. I know they really hit them hard, because Cool Matt, we talked about it, you know, playing so aggressive, really just kind of, remember on the archway, he was just standing there at point A for a very long time. No, Muma was diving all the way into the back line. They said, you know what, we're gonna make them pay for it. They're able to pick up some kills early with Reaper and then just push on to the point.
A couple of early picks really cost the Outlaws. They're losing Linksa while he was trying to, you know, peek out the front. He was down about 60 HP. Didn't have a health pack nearby. Didn't want to recall because it would put him again in enemy territory with only his blinks for mobility. And then he got picked up. He actually ran into a trap and couldn't do anything to get out of it. Unfortunate, but again, got to look down sometimes. We're not bungee jumping. You can look down.
So looks like London will try their hand now with Junkrat Widowmaker on defense. We'll see if they set up on the high ground or if they set up on that middle bridge where we've seen a lot of teams setting up over the last few weeks.
Captain Planet, is that the best you can come up with? Elimination map? For real? He's had double the eliminations of the next closest outlaw. That's big. I mean, his kill involvement was extreme because Coolman is going from coast to coast here, not only defending his backline, but also harassing that of the Spitfire.
I mean, he's got 9 final blows, 18 to limbs. Like you saw, the next highest on Houston would be Linkser with 9. So he is doing a very good job here.
Well, Coolman has more final blows than any other outlaw. 3 more than the next closest, who was Jake. So he had an insane round on that Diva.
So it'll be Linkser playing Widow. We're going to try and counter snipe here against Birdring. Birdring will have the luxury of the Orisa shield. It'll be set up on that closer bridge. So if they do jump right on Birdring, he's going to fly to that high ground that we saw Linkser playing on to be able to do a pretty home breathe.
The butt dive, I love it. Mima goes in doing 180s, but he was still caught out. He may not have been headshot, but the front-loaded damage was there in stiff supply from the Spitfire. That went well.
Went well for London. Yep. So they're able to just wipe the floor with Houston. And I wonder how many cracks that Houston tries with the Widowmaker on offense, because just playing around the Orisa shield is very difficult. You see Raucus hiding there. Jake is actually up on the high ground too, to the back left of Birdring. So look for the dive to come in, then Jake to jump down below and take him out.
There's a lot of chunking out here for Birdring. Tearing strips off of the Outlaws, and Linkser just has to back away over that bridge. Minimal inroads been made by the Outlaws so far. They do have a presence on the point, but it's just Jake. He's dealing with, dealing with a Junkrat in close quarters. Yeah, that went about as well as expected. Don't forget, Jake, your life jacket's under your seat, mate.
So they do actually, Raucus gets the DMEC on a Fury here towards the end. Birdring will take Linkser out, but maybe you can get a push in when Fury's not in mech, but you see the damage he's putting down, just firing through the choke, getting a little bit of the damage boost there from Nuss. Maybe the build up back towards his ultimate. So, yep, this Widow versus Widow thing isn't going well for Linkser now. Birdring starting to heat up.
Linkser's had a very quiet map so far. And the problem for the Outlaws, it's all well and good once they've set up to attack the point, but they can't set up. They're taking too many casualties while trying to get in position. We saw a very similar scenario actually up against the Uprising earlier today. Now, though, they've made some progress. Fury's been dropped, Cormac getting desuited, and now the rest of the Spitfire have been sort of corralled up into this top room, but that's just where Prophet is going to let the Riptire go. There's not much response, and I didn't know if they were ready for this one. Moomin just gets it dumped on him just as he was about to get on top of Prophet.
Houston is so spread out on their attack. You have Bonnie and Coolman now who are stuck behind, back towards point B.
I feel bad for this.
This is a Jake Bedosen battle up top, as now he's got some help. Have Raucus up here as well. Bonnie has fallen behind. It's just, things are starting to get crazy here for Houston. I like the change though. Linkser goes over. He will play Genji here, so you're going to get an actual dive that'll come through. But only a minute to go.
One of the hallmarks of the success of many of the Spitfire's players back when they were playing in Apex is their ability to have that stamina and just to go for a very long series, right? This is a long day for both of these teams, and the Spitfire right now are showing a little bit more resilience and the ability to bounce back than the Outlaws are. They're making very little progress, and you got to start wondering how much they've got left in the tank, man. They're looking a little bit disheveled here, and another failed attack is probably going to put them on last chance saloon territory.
And they try and go in and engage with their Valkyrie, and they get nothing for it. Nuss doesn't even have to use his. He'll just res Birdring back up. We'll still have Valkyrie and Transcendence. You'll have a Riptire here. Birdring with the Infrasight. Does not look good for the Houston Outlaws. Tremendous defense coming in here from London.
Stoic. Completely unbreakable thus far. Of course, this was Birdring as well. Just he has the freedom to go in between those two platforms. He has two very distinct angles and a lot of space as well. But now we actually have the engagement. Look at Muma. Look through the wireframe. He's up on the high ground with a Primal Rage, so he's going to knock the Spitfire down. There's a Transcendence at play right now for the Outlaws, but Raucus is taken down. Prophet gets a Riptire, but Prophet has been found. Linkser uncovers his location and delivers the killing blow. Fury has a self-destruct, but he's looking so healthy right now, he might not need it for the time being. He can just get up in the face of the Outlaws, and Linkser the only man really able to make any inroads there at all. 4 seconds, the Outlaws nowhere to be seen thus far, and the Spitfire are out there. Oh, they're getting serious. Up there with that flying V. And the Outlaws looking dejected. Very unsuccessful on the map of Temple of Anubis.
Dominant performance yet again from the London Spitfire. They're starting to get rolling, Mitch. They were dominant on Ilios. They come in on Anubis. Their attack was not pretty to point A. They were able to crack point B once they make some changes, but their defense, man, so sick.
I mean, look how solid it was. Prophet birdering, amazing series from him. Bedosian had a great one. This might be the end of the line for the Outlaws. They've got to hang on in this best of 5. We'll see how this one ends after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League represents a different direction than esports have taken in the past. A global community of professionals for a truly global league.
Our best of 5 series here, ladies and gentlemen, to decide the opponent of the New York Excelsior in our Stage 1 playoffs. Matt, has the long arm of the law finally caught up with Houston? They are looking like a shadow of themselves in that first match.
It seems like London has figured something out. You're really seeing them enable Birdring and Prophet to go crazy, and Gesture has had a tremendous series in the main tank role as well. But Houston, not out of it. They get Eichenwald, the map that they're very good at. They can go over to Junkertown, a map which they may think is their best, may actually be their best map. And then they would force that tiebreaker on Lijiang Tower.
And at that point, anything could happen. The problem is, the Outlaws need to get to Junkertown.
No, we're not playing that same one. I mean, you can see them end here on Junkertown. So they take this next map. We see it end on Junkertown. They're actually in a better spot than we had originally thought. So Obviously, the rules where we play that tiebreaker map obviously don't come into play here. It's a best of 5.
Only in the
only
case
if we have
of
a draw.
draw.
So you could see them put the series away still. It's really just, London obviously needs to win. I think if London were to get one of the 2 maps, I think it would be this one. I think Junkertown, if you can get it to Junkertown, I think Houston feels really good about that.
Well, if London wins this map, it's a 3-1.
Obviously, yes.
So that wouldn't be the ideal setup, of course, for the Outlaws. Suffice to say, you can't win a game that you've already lost. Think about it. Think about it! And now we're going to jump in just a moment. Composure needs to be regained by the Houston Outlaws, and the London Spitfire are looking, again, to land the finisher. The coup de grace, as it were.
No substitutions on either side yet again. Didn't expect them from Houston, maybe from London, but the roster they have in the game right now has been playing quite well. So Robin decides he wants to join in on the action.
Oh, he's a man of the people, isn't he? Muma giveth, Muma also taketh away.
Yep.
You're learning the hard way, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry.
So it looks like there will be no Farah on defense for Houston. So that's the strategy we've been seeing a lot of teams employ on the defensive end. They're going to opt to have Junkrat instead of Farah. And you're going to have Muma play Orisa here instead of Winston. So usually we see Winston Diva comboed with Farah on the defense. When you have Jake playing Junkrat, you're going to have the Orisa shield in.
And now it's time to get this one underway. The Spitfire trying to get this series all tied up, and the Outlaws might have something to say. The classic Houston Outlaws anti-dive composition, should I say. It's tried and true. They're comfortable with it. Gestures just going to get blown up. Nice start.
And London on offense will not play their dive. They'll have Prophet play Junkrat. Birdring will play McCree, and Gesture trying to play Orisa. Just that barrier is going to go down so quick once Jake comes around the corner. See, he's already at 92% to a rip tire here.
Always seems like things run a lot better for the Outlaws when Jake is piloting the Junkrat. Or the Trash Mouse, colloquially known. The Spitfire are taking a heck of a lot of damage via this poke here, so Gesture on the Orisa. Try and prevent some of this coming in, but look how quickly Jake has been able to recruit that ultimate percentage. Birdring's found by Mimo already, and Jake's just got a Riptide to respond, so it's going to be a slow start for the Spitfire if they really even get anywhere in this map.
Yeah, they're trying to push on through the choke, and Birdring actually dies on the Houston side of that choke, so not going to see a res come through. Fury out of his mech, you're going to try and just leave him alive. So I was actually going to say, with the comp that Houston's running, you would love to run like the Farah with the dive coming in for the London Spitfire. Gesture will move over. He will play Winston. You will still keep Prophet on the Junkrat. He has the Riptire. He may as well use it.
Up over the tops of these buildings here again into spawn. But Ocean, you thought you were going to get to play Overwatch this map? No! Jake just finds him in spawn. That's just going to add insult to injury as well. Could have been anyone else, of course. But Ocean, though, had your name on it. And now the responding Riptire is going to come through. So the Outlaws are bracing themselves here for what is surely going to be a bit of a barrage. And Prophet trying to climb the tower. Tries to get his Big Ben impression on, but it doesn't work out. And just before he get tied together here with the use of that Hulk. But Linkser has other targets. He's trying to keep Bedosian's head out of this mess, trying to make sure he doesn't get involved. Linkser, oh, he's very low. He was hoping there that his opponent would have not moved, but Prophet was already out of there. Very lucky to be alive.
They've already used their Transcendence. Raucus popped that on the point just to keep everybody up. It'll be the Transcendence now that comes out for Bedosian. Trying to heal up Nuss and Gesture on the point here.
Oh, the triple tap!
Headshots there from Linkser.
Don't you dare not, you cheeky boy! No resurrects today! Your boy Bedosian staying dead, at least this time. Nice composure there from Linkser. 3 solid hits as the Zenyatta just came out of his Transcendence. And that's pretty big.
So Jake does die. Birdring's actually in the back on top of the castle. I wonder if Jake realizes this as he's coming out of the spawn. Could potentially help. There he is. There's the kill. So Jake coming out of the
sitting
spawn.
up in his chair as well. Now
doesn't expect Birdring to be behind them.
I think he's a bit shook after that one. 5 players, that's all Houston have to work with. Jake has just respawned and might still have to deal with a flanker. Riptire inside the Hunter's Lodge. It's found Raucus. Lynx is down. Everything kind of falling apart for the Houston Outlaws here. This wasn't the way they intended this hold to go at all. The Spitfire embedded a sleeper agent in the back lines, and the Outlaws got bamboozled. And now Muma, they get turned into glue over at the factory. With 35 seconds left, London get that first point, and they get the chance to move the payload through the map.
That's really all about Birdring opening that up, because Jake's coming back. He has Riptire, right? Maybe they were able to extend it a little bit longer. Birdring will switch off a Tracer, go McCree here for this next portion of the map, but he's hiding up where Linkser is right now, and as soon as he sees Jake walk out of the spawn, he jumps right down on top of him. Just one clips him, and you saw Jake's reaction, just jumps out of his seat, has absolutely no idea Birdring's behind him.
And if that goes wrong for Birdring, it could all be over there. There's no chance of Spitfire even win this map. So very clever, but also risky play. He managed to execute perfectly, though, and that's what you're looking for, players of this caliber. Okay, Jake.
All right.
Style points for balancing that one, but now he needs to get a kill. He's got Gesture. That'll do. That'll do.
We've seen very creative Riptires over the last few weeks, I will say that.
Creative is a very diplomatic way of putting it, but hey, that worked.
You can make a great montage. Muma jumps in onto the payload, just tries to get into the back line and try and force this Valkyrie out of nuts. You know he has it for the London Spitfire. They've not been able to really move this payload very far since unlocking point A. It's just been the damage that comes down from above.
This could be a big Deadeye, waiting for Fury's defense matrix to time out. Now gets out a little bit too far. Maybe put too much faith in the defense matrix there. Regardless, now that's done. Pretty much fight finished there, especially after Prophet fancied himself some FaceTime with Jake up on the high tower and gets shot out of the sky by Raucus.
Yeah, I mean, on the positive side for London Spitfire, you did have Bonnie use his Valkyrie during that fight, when maybe he actually didn't even need it, right? It's a pretty safe fight for Houston. They're just definitely trying to make sure it goes in their favor. Muma will fall. It'll be Linkser who takes out Nuss again, so not going to have any reses here for the Spitfire.
Yep. I don't think the Spitfire want to push the castle while Jake's in there. While he's going to do that damage, but Prophet has a Riptire he's looking for. That's just sublime! He's found both the DPSs, pretty much puts a lid on that fight immediately. Bidosin finds Raucus. What did the fireballs say to the face, Matt? Pain is an excellent teacher. Raucus knows by now.
As London advances the payload, Gesture will move up closer to the castle door and probably get some support. They're going to keep Birdring hidden in the back. He has that Deadeye, potentially, when the players come out on the bridge. They don't know Muma is actually all the way behind. So he's coming all the way around onto the supports here.
Secret Agent Monkey Man, but his Tiger was being pocketed by Nuss. Which one do you go for here, Muma? Nice little maneuvering there. Oh no, he's been stunned up as well. This could be bad. He even takes damage there from that self-destruct. Muma is felled. Now it's 23 seconds left for London to get across the bridge. Gesture gives it a nudge, keeps that payload moving. The problem is that the Outlaws are kind of not really in sync at the moment. Coolmat just knocked out of his mech. Raucus found Nuss up on the high ground. That's a huge kill.
And they're going to use Transcendence and try and push through, and Linkser does have this Deadeye.
Oh, Jake got crunched there. Gesture came in with a Primal Rage and cleaned him up, and Fury now returns to the frame, but it might be too late. Jake's been brought back to his feet now. Transcendence here for the Houston Outlaws. This is the stop that they were looking for. They bought so much time on the first point. Now they converted. Surely Nuss and Prophet, the two closest players, there's no way they're getting there. And both of these teams trading punches. But it's the Outlaws with an incredibly good hold on that first point. It's such a long second stage on this map, Matt. And the Spitfire knew they were going to be short on time if they even made it to the castle, which they did not.
Houston had a great first point defense. It's just a great play from Birdring, who helps open it up for the London Spitfire. They're behind the enemy, playing Tracer, who's able to pick up that kill. And then as we go into that second stage of the game, from point A to B, it was Houston who did a really good job on defense, getting right up by that castle door, just burning time, forcing them to invest ultimates into these fights and just extend them for a long period of time.
Deadeye's used on a single Primal Raging Winston because he was being such a nuisance. Fantastic stuff there. Muma, really good round for him. Linkser stepping up. Jake also getting back in the mix. These are the key players that the Outlaws need to be there. Raucus had an excellent round, a lot of kill participation.
The previous map on Anubis, looking at the stats, you really saw the biggest differences with Muma and Gesture in the main tank role, and then the two DPSs for either side. And right now, Houston's players are starting to heat up. And Muma with a very good first half, same with Linkser and Jake.
And the Spitfire can quite easily dispense with the Outlaws here with a strong first point hold. A similar composition, in fact, an identical one to what we saw from the Outlaws, with the exception of the Roadhog being in the mix here. So they're definitely going to be working a lot more around that Orisa and Roadhog combo, the ball and chain, if you will. They've got a lot of anti-dive. The thing is that the Houston Outlaws don't really fancy dive. It's just not a composition they often favor. So we might see a war of attrition, both teams trying to break those Orisa shields down, and it may just come down to who finds the picks in these fights.
So we will see Houston play Orisa Junkrat McCree on offense. The only difference here is Fury will be playing Roadhog, so you're going to be able to, like you said, get that halt plus hook combination. Also, Roadhog, a ton of HP, able to just stay alive for such a long time.
Moomin there looks like he must have eaten a concussive fight or something similar. I feel like the Spitfire are trying to play the Outlaws game, to be honest. We know that they can do a lot of things, but this is not a comp we always see out of London. More of that dive-oriented team, but looks like they're flexible enough here to mold themselves into the doppelganger of the Outlaws' approach to this map.
They were just trying to throw some different looks at him. Whatever they tried the other day did not exactly work. Coming in here today, gonna try a different composition, see if they can make it work. You know, we talked about it. They ran Dorado on Junkrat in their first matchup. They were able to take it. They didn't take it today, but they look much better when they hit the Junkrat.
Danger! Flash from Birdring. Oh, the shield time from Muma. What a clutch god. He just throws it down, keeping Linkser alive. Birdring couldn't get any shots done. I love that. So clever. Now the Outlaws are up on towards the point. They've almost got that first tick. A wildly successful attack so far, but there's more to be said. You can see preemptively Banny's going to get up into the sky. He might need to resurrect someone there getting eaten by the Riptire. It's going to be Raucus. Prophet knows he can't reach Banny in the air with the Riptire. He can't jump across like that. So it brings Raucus back up. Birdring doing work though. They need Raucus alive. He had the transcendence. Linkser finds Birdring though, who will be resurrected here. Looks like Houston could have made more progress, but losing Raucus there hurts. That real hurts.
Yeah, they wanted to use those reses onto Jake and Rocket, but Jake dies in a position not able to get anything, and it looks like that is a halt off the map there. Linkser and
Banny, all expenses paid trip to the forest floor. Soft landing not guaranteed.
And we'll see if Jake can get anything with the Riptire. We can take a look at this replay clip. I believe that's when the shield comes down. Let's see how this exactly happened. Oh, there's the halt off the side. Beautiful. Coming in. And in the actual game, we actually have a halt and a hook that comes through, and they deal with Coolmat right away. So Coolmat does fall. Birdring, while they're trying to go for the res, takes out Linkser.
Okay, Outlaws now will want to be trying to set up a little bit. And honestly, they're going to be put in a similar situation to the Spitfire, even if they take this first point, Matt. Been pressured very heavily. They've only got a minute and 35 left. Both these teams really chunking each other down. Now, Riptire is available for Jake. Transcendence for Raucus, who would have preferred it last fight, but Banny's almost got yet another Valkyrie here.
And it'll be Gesture. He uses the supercharger here, going to give that damage boost to everybody. It gets taken out by Jake.
Where's this tire?
Now the Riptire comes through. Way over the top.
Over the back, who's he looking for? Oh, Jake needs to be careful. Birdring just took a big chunk out of it. Oh, Prophet actually destroys Jake's Riptire with his own. That's an interesting trade. I guess just trying to stay safe. Stands to reason. Cormac gonna come forward, eats a hook from Fury now. Fury does have the Orisa barrier just to take refuge behind for the time being. Oh, that's not good! Self-destruct inside the hunting lodge, but everyone clears the area. It's a full-scale evacuation, but Jake manages to get himself in and behind. Linkser's been brought back. They need their star DPS player right now, but Jake stepping up. Fury and Birdring are dropped. The former being brought back to life, and Jake is 1 HP. No way he's going to survive that one. Banny, his Valkyrie. Probably no resurrects available for him at this stage, and Link's trying to find some space, trying to work around these shields. It's hard for the Gunslinger to connect, but Link's are backed up into Bedosin, working out from the side. It's all going wrong for the Outlaws. Raucus finds Prophet. They have to bring themselves back into this match.
But Bedosin comes up with 2 insane kills. He comes to the right of Linkser, takes him out. They use a res on him, and then when Linkser goes around the pole trying to connect with a Deadeye, Bedosin just follows him all the way around as Zenyatta takes them out again. Big play there from Bedosin.
This is it. 13 seconds left. The Outlaws' playoff hopes hang in the balance, and the Spitfire are looking hot to trot. Fury has to back away, but he's run into Mumik here. Takes a breather, staying nice and healthy, and Orisa barrier comes up. Remember, 2 ticks so far for the Outlaws, and Cormat's found Birdring early. This Riptide could be the game. It is! Banny's taken down. That's the pick the Spitfire we're looking for. They might have just sealed the deal right here and now. Linkser and Moomin just trying to huddle together for warmth, trying to keep some sort of presence on the point, but the whole hog is going to make it so hard for them to keep their feet up on the ground. But if Fury drops, that's going to be it. Where are the Outlaws now? The Spitfire take flight straight into our grand finals.
And big plays by Bedosin there at the end. In a fight that Houston may have been able to turn in their favor. Just picks up when you invest those resurrections into Linkser. Needs to come up big with some kills. And Bedosin shuts him down. And you can see Houston just stunned.
Devastating result. The Outlaws come in with that confidence of already having beaten the Spitfire, but this roster, they morph to whatever shape they need to be, Matt. They're flexible, malleable, and now they're vindicated. To come back with a victory, I mean, giving us a grand final, a repeat of what we may have already seen today, but we've just seen this team develop so much over the course of a couple of days. The handshakes for all in a valiant fight. And the Outlaws did show that recovery.
Yes.
We started to see them surge forward. Rip tires and sundry. They ruin dreams sometimes, Matt. But we're far from done, and this is just stage one. Just stage one. But London, all credit to them. Incredible DPS combinations. Bedosian having a breakout series himself. Gesture continuing to deliver the goods. Love to see this team continue to go from strength to strength, Matt.
Yeah, and, you know, Houston will be back in stage 2. I think they proved they have a very strong team, a real great core, and you know, these guys just really care about each other. You see them all the time, just backing each other up. They're going to have just a lot more to play for as the year goes on, but we have Zoe on the floor here with Prophet.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, Prophet from the London Spitfire is now joining me. Give it up. London made it to the finals. Now, this is your second victory of the day, and you have one more match to go. We, of course, know that all the teams are practicing each and every day, but how different is it to actually play 3 matches on stage in one day with so much money on the line?
프로비 선수 일단 우승을 축하드립니다. 이제 오늘 두 번째 경기를 하셨고 마지막 한 개 더 경기를 두고 계신데 보통 선수들이 이제 연습을 굉장히 오랫동안 하지 않습니까? 하루에 3경기씩 연습을 하는 걸로 알고 있는데 그것들이랑 비했을 때 큰 무대 위에서 3경기씩 큰 돈에 걸린 경기를 한 소감이 어떠신가요?
일단 그 큰 무대인 만큼 많이 떨렸고 스크림 하는 시간보다 대회 1시간 하는 게 훨씬 더 힘든 것 같아요.
It was a big stage and definitely got me really nervous. Compared to practice, you know, because it's on stage, a 1-hour match playing on stage is much more stressful than a day of scrims.
All right, well, you have a short break before we're heading into the finals, but with those finals, stage 1 is coming to an end. What's the experience been like for you and your team?
이제 곧 있으시면 스테이지 1 플레이오프 결승을 치르게 되실 텐데 여태까지 스테이지 1을 뒤돌아봤을 때 어떻게 진행된 것 같으신가요?
처음에는 좀 좋게 시작했다가 중간쯤에 보스턴 팀한테 한번 지고 나서 분위기가 안 좋았는데 서울 팀을 꺾고 난 뒤로는 좀 좋아진 것 같아요.
I think we had a really great start to the split. After a while, we lost to Boston. That's when our atmosphere dropped down quite a bit. But after we were able to defeat Seoul, I think we got back in the groove, and here we are today.
All right, you are indeed. The rematch is coming along as we're going to see you guys in the finals. Before that is happening, is there anything you want to say to the fans at home?
결승전을 하게 되신 거를 다시 한번 축하드리고 팬들에게 하고 싶은 말씀 있으신지?
응원해 주셔서 고맙고 마지막 결승도 승리로 보답하겠습니다.
Thank you guys so much for cheering for us, and hopefully we'll win it all.
Well, we can't wait to see what's going to happen on stage. Prophet, thank you so much. Congratulations once more to you and your team. Now let's break down the action on our desk with Pocket.
Thank you so much. So keep it going for the London Spitfire. They advance to our final match tonight. And also, let's hear for the Houston Outlaws. They made it to the playoffs with the win over Boston today. Sadly, London will end their run in stage 1. They're coming into the next stage with the 3rd seed. We'll see what Houston can do. But let's take our attention back to this match. And going into the half, it was 1-1. It was all tied up. Strong performance from Houston, answered back by London. Now we're going into a game 3 on Anubis, and we said, well, this could go in favor of Houston if you look at the stats from the past. It looked good for Houston at the start. They had London stalled out on A. Cool Matt was going off for the squad, but somehow London was able to bring it back.
Yes, very difficult on this point A for London Spitfire's dive to be able to set up when Coolmat was just zoning out Prophet and Birdring all the time. They couldn't set anything up. Eventually they're able to get it, but Dosin hits a great couple of balls onto Jake, takes him out of the fight, and they're able to snowball that forward.
Yeah, in general, I gotta say, London, we talked about this before, Josh, me and you, we were saying it during the games whilst it was going on. London are playing this style where a lot of these attacking attempts, they're very much set up, they're very much planned and coordinated beforehand. It takes a while for them to get the ball rolling, but once they do, they get a successful push. they get it going, right? And we saw that on Anubis, where it took a while for them to crack into point A. Point B was actually also, again, repeated attempts over and over again. And it is that sort of style that London are playing. And they did also sort of play around Houston's game plan, which was the sort of Linkser on Widowmaker, Jake on the Junkrat. They did have a game plan for it. We saw Prophet making those last-minute adjustments to the Reaper as well to deal with sort of Cool Matt's nuisance on the point.
It seemed like Houston had a pretty solid top setup. B fell apart for him, and we saw some switches to the composition coming in from this London Spitfire squad throughout the game. Is this something you expect to see in their next matchup against the New York XL? What did they show you in that match in particular?
Yeah, actually, both of the teams, London Spitfire and the New York XL, have both struggled on Anubis, I think, pushing into Jake's Junkrat at various times. It's really difficult because the normal way that you'd set this up, the normal way that top teams do it is you try and engineer yourself an advantage in terms of the Valkyrie or the Transcendence, and then you can push in and you have a much bigger advantage in the fight. But with Jake's tires flying all around the place, climbing up pillars, and they're suddenly in your face, it becomes very difficult. And I think that switch over to the Reaper was really pivotal in being able to get him to the point and really focus on taking Banny out of the fight.
The Reaper paid off there on point B, but for point A, it was all about the Widowmaker. And as we look at the comparison, it was Linkser for the Houston Outlaws, Birdring on the other side for the London Spitfire. Break down the numbers for me, Bren. Who had the better game? If you look purely at the damage, it looks like Linkser was shut down.
Yeah, and I mean, this is partly due to the fact that London had a game plan coming into this. They were working with gestures, Orisa halts, sort of to pull Linkser in an hour position so that Birdring could get the shots on. And that was really a lot of coordination on his part. But what's interesting here is like the time played as well. Even though Birdring has less time played, he's still putting out better stats than Linkser. And I mean, this is really sort of pivotal because Linkser is a star player. The guy had a great performance in the first two maps, but still you shut down Linkser, and suddenly you start to work around Jake's Junkrat, and you're starting to ask questions, you know, what else does Houston Outlaws have as a counteract?
Houston was unable to answer back on Anubis, and the story continued into game number 4. Let's take a look back at Eichenwald. Now, this is, again, we look at the maps, you look at the previous meeting. Houston, will they be able to pull off another victory? It looked great at times. Linkser popping off, picks up both of the supports on the McCree. Very strong defense once again. And at the very end, it feels like back-to-back mirror stories where we just see the Spitfire finish in the final 45 seconds.
Yeah, and this was the winning play for London Spitfire in point A. They were able to sync up Prophet's tire with a Primal Rage and a self-destruct that you see there to be able to kind of clear everybody off the point. But it takes that kind of coordination to be able to break through the defense that these top teams are setting up. I feel like the metagame at the moment very heavily slanted in favor of defense, and we saw that with this full hold coming out from London Spitfire. It looks like you're losing it, and then a couple of hooks come out from Fury. Prophet has another big tire. There are such large swings in momentum that can come when you're running these kind of compositions.
Brent, what was the biggest difference for London Spitfire? Why did they get the win on Eichenwald in your eyes?
I feel like they've actually adapted to Houston's playstyle around the Jake's Junkrat. I mean, it's a bit cheesy to say because we were saying, you know, what are they going to do against it? However, you know, they whipped out the Fury on Roadhog on the first defense of Eichenwald. Normally, we only see them pull that out on maps like Horizon when they're running that first defense there. However, Fury, I mean, he pulled out 75% hook accuracy. That's like in the upper echelon, right, of these Roadhog players when they're pulling out numbers like this. He really did clutch it very hard for London in that last defense.
Fury went off. London gets the big win. They lock up the series 3-1, and that means there's only one more thing to do, and that is crown our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Who is it?
It's Prophet.
It's Prophet, and we had such a tough time choosing. We showed you his highlights from all of the games. We went with the Junkrat here, but he showed us multiple heroes in this matchup.
Yes, and I think they had a really good performance on Junkrat. When you look at the time played over the course of the entire season, he's only played half the amount that Jake has. And I feel like on Dorado, he was getting caught out in a couple of places. But as the series went on, he was the key, or one of the keys, for London to adapt their play style and be able to put up similar levels of defense. If you can't also put up the same level of defense as Houston Outlaws can, then you're probably stuffed, because that means you have to do way more on the offense. So I think being able to put up similar levels of defensive play, we see this from London, we see this from New York, this sets you up well when you're playing against Houston.
Surprise for a lot of people watching the show at home and a lot of people in the venue that were cheering on the Outlaws, but it was all London tonight. They win 3 straight games and are now headed for a rematch against the New York XL. We saw a preview at the start of the day at 11 a.m. The grand finals of Stage 1 is coming up next. You don't want to miss it.